if you'd like to understand how we program for our members, this is creating each member's individualized program. This video is for you, and if you've got 7 minutes up your sleeve, you just might have to excuse the cockatoos in the background or the children. It's just a good case study of one of our members, Noah. I'll go through and I've created his 6 program, and I'll just walk through what we review in the completed program and how we approach creating our members program. So if you've got any questions, if there's anything you want to go through, just shoot me a message. Thanks. So we put a lot of time and effort into our members programs at State of Fitness. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak behind the curtain of kind of how it all works, our philosophy, and just kind of the process and our approach when it comes to creating our members programs. So our little case study today is Noah. He trains with us twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I moved his completed program down here to Wednesdays so it could fit in my head. Most people like to and follow their programs for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, typically 4 weeks, because most people get bored after 4 weeks, which is myself included. So first and foremost, what we do is we just look back at our members' results from the just completed programs. And here we are. Some people are really methodical with putting in their weights, which is important, but it's really not for everyone. Some people just want to come in and exercise and train. That's great. But for putting your weights in, it just gives us a good insight to be able to track your progress over time, because really what gets measured gets managed. And it's really nice to see that incremental increase over time and that progressive overload and what we all need for increased strength and muscle mass. So Noah's first workout back, he was just coming back ill after being on holidays, unfortunately, and he's normally really good with putting his weights in. But if we go back and look at his squats, so view history, so he just hit 50 kilos after the holidays, which is no problem with that. But just before Christmas, he got up to 75 kilos for his last set. And then, so that was on December 22nd, 15th got to 70, December 8th got to 65, December 1st, he finished on 65. So kind of throughout that whole program, he was able to increase his weight by 10 kilos, which is awesome. So that's really fantastic progress. And then the new programs. So I had Noah in on Thursday. I was chatting to him about his program, and he requested hip thrusts. So fantastic. You got to give the people what they want. And how we structure our workouts are all around. So we've got movement prep. That's our warm-up. I don't necessarily like calling it warm-up, because if we just said warm-up, it just implies you can just get warm and that's it. The movement prep is all about getting the body prepared for the movements he's about to do, or the member's about to do. And Noah is very hypermobile. That means he's got a lot of flexibility and laxity in his joints. So people like that can be a lot more prone to ligament and tendon joint issues and injuries. So he hasn't got a whole lot of stretching. He's got a little bit of releasing, but then his movement prep's all around building awareness and stability, especially around his core and around his hips, to build some awareness of being like, great, this is what my core and my glutes are meant to feel like and my shoulders before I go load it. So I've changed his movement prep, I think 3 times over his programs, over the last this is 6 program. But normally movement prep doesn't change a whole lot because it's really based around the assessment when people first come in. So you got some tight quads, you got some tight glutes, whatever it is, we will build that in the movement prep to make sure the body's prepared to train. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the strength. Typically we've got a lot of strength-based supersets, but with hip thrusts, it's just so awkward to alternate with. So he's just got straight sets with a 2-minute rest in between. So 3 heavy sets followed by 1 kind of burnout set at the end. Bench press with a block, and we're supersetting that with lat pull down. So in his last program, he had incline bench press and like a close grip pull down. So I wanted to just go back to a normal bench, still with a block to reduce range a little bit, to take a bit of pressure off the shoulders. Lat pull down just gets it back a little bit more versus a close grip pull down that we had. And on his day 2, we've got a lot of chin-ups. So I wanted to get a bit of a variation or more on the back versus like a close grip chin-up, which is a lot of biceps as well. Deficit lunges are great because you're actually working through a really good range to build strength. And renegade row with push-ups, triceps, core, chest, more arms, and standing one arm cable row to get the core tied in, and the back as well with some extra arms. So that's really day 1. So we've got the movement prep here. strength, and then like a little bit of a check-in at the end. And this is just a bit of a reminder also for myself and my staff, just to be like, hey, how's the body feeling? How'd you feel the workout? Just because, communication is really important. Day 2, movement prep is the same. The only time would really vary the movement prep is if someone's, say, doing like a lower body workout and an upper body, will change the warm up or the movement prep, based on kind of what they've got. So if someone's just doing legs, then we probably won't spend a whole lot of time warming, getting the upper body prepared unless they've got some type of shoulder injury or something going on. All right, so up first, he's got 8 sets of chin-ups, and we're just going to complete sub-max reps. So you're going to keep 1 rep in the tank for each set. So we've been building towards improving Noel's chin-ups. Well, kind of like, at least I have, that's in the back of my mind. And this is a really good way to be able to build some volume of chin-ups into someone's program. So he might only start off with, 2 or 3 reps each set, but then over the program, maybe I'll check back in another 4 weeks, we'll slowly increase the reps. So he might start off with only doing 16 reps throughout the chin-ups for the first week, but then the following week it might be 18 and 20, 22, 24, and so on. So we're just building some good volume with chin-ups. So it's a really nice way. If you only can do a couple of chin-ups, I would highly recommend doing this. Dumbbell bench, that's more chest than close grip bench. Belt squat, once again, no pressure on and this was in his last program as well, but we definitely haven't hit the ceiling on how much weight he can do with it. And especially if an exercise is going well for someone, it is important to have variations and like variety in members programs. But if an exercise is going well, like, we'll keep it in there just so we can really try and max it out as much as possible. And yeah, there's a bunch of other things in there, but since he's only, and for most members, only doing 2 days a week, there'll be full body workouts. We're not doing a whole lot of cardio with Noah because in his sessions, his heart rate gets up to like 160 very frequently anyway. But then a lot of people will have some conditioning at the end of the workout. But once again, that's completely individualized and what they want to get out of training. So yeah, that's it. This is the process we go through for every single member. So if you've got any questions or anything you want to work on with your program, please reach out. Thanks.